Hi, my name is Shauna. My future is gone. I was really in the best shape of my life. My two kids had just flown the nest, and my husband and I were still working full time. I was just shocked. I had been, eating well, exercising, don't have a family history, have never smoked. I had an illness in early fall of 2018, and just a normal respiratory cold. And then my cough, though, stayed. After a couple months, it still didn't go away. I took my lunch break from work and went to an urgent care clinic where they x-rayed me and found a mass in my right lung. At the urgent care, they did my x-ray. The person who was working, I don't even think it was a doctor or anything necessarily, came and talked to me about seeing the mass and told me I would need to see a pulmonologist next and get scheduled. So as you can imagine, I was shocked and went back to work, and then left, and then got hooked up with a pulmonologist, got in, and he scheduled a biopsy. So I had a needle biopsy, and let's see, then all the scans that come after, which would have been an MRI of the brain. They did probably the PET scan and the chest CT and abdomen. And the biopsy came back positive for the cancer. I think by even just the x-ray, they could see that it was in both lungs. So if you have an original tumor and then it's spread to another organ, that's automatically a stage 4, which I didn't really understand all that at the time. But because it had spread to the other lung, I have innumerable little nodules in both lungs, and then one primary tumor in my right lung. So that made it stage 4. Being my age, which had just turned 51 in October, and then this was November when I was diagnosed, I was really in the best shape of my life. My two kids had just flown the nest, and my husband and I were still working full time, and I was just shocked. I had been, eating well, exercising, don't have a family history, have never smoked. So it just came out of nowhere. So it was upsetting. I live in a more rural area in Indiana. We're not really close to any big hospitals. So I just started with the pulmonologist who was local and very good. And he was able to do what I needed done and diagnose me. And then I found an oncologist who it was local as well. And I found a Facebook group for ALK-positive lung cancer, which helped a lot. It's very educational, informative, supportive. Those people have a lot of knowledge on that page. And that kind of steered me to think, oh, maybe I need to get a second opinion. So I got a second opinion. There's in Nashville, Tennessee, there's a specialist there. And then I also in Boston at Mass General, there was someone there that is an ALK-positive lung cancer specialist. So I stayed with my general oncologist for about 5 years because I knew I was getting the standard of care. I knew that treatment would be the same that I would get anywhere, and it was convenient being close to home. But since then, I have switched my care to a bigger hospital in Indianapolis just because things are getting a little more complicated. And I know I'll have better access to clinical trials, better, it's just a better facility. One of my second opinions, who I see now at the Indianapolis hospital, is the one who submitted it to a company to test it. And really everyone on my team knew what direction to go to with it. So I didn't have that problem at all. So it was right off the beginning. And then I'd say within a few weeks, I came back as ALK positive. So I knew that there was a mutation, and that thoracic oncologist there had told me that more than likely I did have a mutation because of my age and some of the other things. Immediately, they started me on my first TKI. And at the full dose, I had some side effects right away, some of the more serious side effects, bradycardia being one of them, and pneumonitis being the other. So my oncologist would lower the dose each time I experience an event like that. And at the time, that was the best and newest TKI available. So we decided to stay the course and see, because it had been proven with others that you could take the half of the dose and it still be effective. And in my case, that's what we found. I was able to take half the dose, all the side effects went away, and I was able to go, I was stable. It never did. I never had no evidence of disease. It probably shrunk my original tumor about 40%, and then I've just been stable from that time. So I was also able to scale my dose back up. So by the last couple years I was on that TKI, I was taking the full dose again with none of those same serious problems. I was on that first TKI about 5-ish years, and I started having some new spots or some spot growth in some nodules in my left lung. So then I had radiation. I don't know what year it was exactly. It was maybe like 2022 or something, and then again in 2023. They were about a year apart from each other. So the radiation was just targeting like a certain spot that they thought they saw growth. And then I was able to go on and be stable and still stay on my first TKI. Well, the past year, a year ago in August, a little bit earlier than that, we were noticing some more small growth again in different spots, and we were beginning to realize that my first TKI, we had probably run out of time on it, and maybe it was time to make the switch because there was a newer drug out by that time. So research is so important, because if I didn't have that to jump to, that would have been it. So I started on that last August, and that's what I'm on right now, almost a year later. And I have had some questionable scans where they're not sure, but then my last scan in Indianapolis with that oncologist, it read stable. So here we are again. I have not ever really had a lot of problem with symptoms and side effects on either drug. I mean, I know I had those ones off the bat because I was probably taking too big of a dose at the time for my body to adjust to it, but then I was able to go back on full dose. And so the first TKI, I had a lot of bloating, awful constipation, and sun sensitivity. But you adjust to those. To me, the side effects are not anything compared to the drug working. That is, to me, just, obvious that that's the most important thing. So I just learned to wear like a rash guard if I was in the sun, wear sunscreen, wear a hat. and I got used to how long I could stay out in the sun too without burning. And then I found something to use for the constipation that helped. So that was on the first TKI. Now, this TKI causes a little neuropathy and tingling in the hands. And I mean, I just live with it. But that's went away somewhat. I don't even notice it now. And I have so much more energy on this TKI as well, and not as much weight gain. So other than that, I think that's all the side effects. I'm very happy on this as long as it's working. I just came back from a conference where we talked a lot about clinical trials in San Diego. The ALK-positive summit was there, and they have a yearly conference, and it's so informative because they have amazing doctors and patients that talk. But I am definitely considering that. That's the only way that these new drugs will ever come into play. They have to go through trial to be approved so everyone can benefit. So that's what I have spoken to my oncologist about that, and it's not something we're necessarily looking for yet, but it's definitely in my mind. My future is gone, and I really feel for the younger moms and things with kids at home. I'm just thankful that I was able to raise my kids, and cancer is just so prevalent everywhere you look now, and in younger and younger people, and all kinds of cancers. So I can't say I was necessarily that surprised. I was surprised at what type of cancer I ended up with, but you know, just happens everywhere. But I would just say my future as a, grandma, I do have 7 grandchildren actually, and I was able to see a lot of them be born since my diagnosis. I have my faith. So my hope is in my eternity. And I realize that life is short. It's short for all of us. It's but a vapor. But so that is my hope. I mean, I just think my life here on earth may be cut short, but so is a lot of other people's. And I just live each day to the fullest and try to be kind to everyone and sow joy. And I'm just enjoying my family and friends and just trying to have a balance in life with this diagnosis. I always said I kind of have my 5 main people. So I just shared my 2 daughters, my sister, and my husband, and then my parents or my mom. So those are the ones that I shared. Those are the people that I feel like I could go to right at the beginning, and any time I will need them in the future. Life is short. Don't be afraid. Take each day as a new chance. Don't be scared. Don't live your life in fear. It took me about 2 years into this to think, I am not going to worry about this anymore. I'm not going to worry about this one more day. I'm going to just live like I have all the time in the world.